All right, Justin, I'm back. Obviously, this is filmed right after the previous video. I'm not a scumbag who just wears the same clothes every day. But I got a little time on my hands, so I'm going to do a few of these in a row. I would do it all at once, but I don't want to film a video that's an hour fucking long. So, we're almost done with the A's. We're going to get into a little bit of the B's. Let's see how quickly I can do this. Let's go. Autopsy. Mental funeral. Everybody who listens to death metal should know Autopsy. If you're watching this video, you should know Autopsy. This is the only CD by Autopsy I own, and I own a box set of their demos on vinyl that Nico now put out. I really like Autopsy, but I'm not a huge fan of Autopsy. I love this album. I have to be in the mood for it. Autopsy sounds like no one else, but yet every single band, death metal band, when they get reviewed, people mention fucking Autopsy. But there's so much influence from this band, and I mean, even right now, look at the back. Number 3, Flesh Crawl. Flesh Crawl is an amazing death metal band who named themselves after this band's song. But I don't know what to say. It's Autopsy. Fucking, if you don't own Autopsy, go fucking get Autopsy. The August Prophecy. Beats me. I do remember buying this. It was in a fucking pawn shop or a thrift store or a CD used bin or something, and I had no idea what it was, but it looked remotely metal. It's really heavy-handed metallic hardcore from the late 90s, I believe. And it's just shit like Spread the Disease or a little like Acrid. Not deathcore, that shit didn't exist yet. As I Bleed. As I Bleed is a band from New England that put out a 10-inch called As Summer Dies. That's really, really fucking good, and I think this sounds like that. Auroch from Forgotten Worlds. This is a death metal band from Canada. This is their first album. I'm not crazy about this CD. It just got re-released with new artwork and stuff. This was given to me by a friend of mine, Mike Meacham from the band Loss. He knows these guys, and he had a couple copies of this, and he gave me one. We were together one time. And it's death metal. It's riffy kind of technical death metal. But there wasn't enough here to really like keep me coming back to it. Their newer album they put out, Mute Books. They put it out last year, the year before maybe late 2016. It's really good. It's real technical and real brutal. But it has this narrative to it lyrically that's really interesting. But I've listened to this a handful of times, but I just never come back to it. The Autumn Project. This is on Deep Send Records, so it looks like it would be a metalcore CD. But being that it is on Deep Send from Massachusetts, it's probably some sort of death metal. It's still sealed. I got it in that giant trade I talked about. I don't know why I keep all this shit. I'm not going to fucking open it, but whatever. Atman. Djurli Ica. This is a black metal band. This was on Perish in Light Records. And many years ago, I was in a black metal band, and we put out 2 CDs on Perish in Light. And the weirdest thing happened. They said they were going to send me their releases to check out. And they sent me a box full of 3 or 4 releases, but like dozens of copies each without cases. But you know, the tray cards and the discs and the booklets all packaged together, but just dozens and dozens and dozens of copies. I've still got them. They're in a box in my garage. I don't know if they fucked up and sent me the wrong. I mean, I don't need fucking 50 copies of your album, man. But this is a black metal CD, and I remember it being black metal, but I've never listened to it since. Next we have Ascended Dead. Ascended Dead is a death metal band from Southern California, a newer band, and they are absolutely fucking sick. they play a very, very chaotic, violent style of death metal, not unlike Necrovore, Possessed. I've worked with these guys pretty closely. I did the layout and design on both of these albums. Ritus Mortus is a compilation of everything they did up to this full length, I think. And it's really good stuff. The drummer of this band, Charlie Corin, is in a bunch of bands on the West Coast, including Golgotha. And when Golgotha was around, the singer, guitar player from that band is Wayne. Wayne is in 2 of my bands as the drummer. We've been really good friends for a long time. But this is good stuff. This is their full length. They came out last year. It's called Abhorrent Manifestation. And there's just every riff on this is just a stab in the fucking neck. This record grabs you by the throat and does not fucking let up. Highly, highly, highly recommended. And I have an open copy that I listened to, and I have a sealed copy because John Ryder, the main dude in the band, he sent me a couple of them after I did the layout and shit for him. I also did the LP layout and the tape layout. You can get it on every format. But I might give this one away. We'll see. We'll see about that. Someone wants it, let me know. Now, here we go. At the Gates. Everybody's favorite band to talk about. So, I got into At the Gates right after Slaughter of the Soul came out. I actually bought a compilation CD, which I have on the shelf, that had Blinded by Fear on it. And Blinded by Fear, of course, is their, it's their Angel of Death. It's their big song. But it's great. That song kind of set the groundwork for how a ton of bands ended up writing music in the mid-2000s. They influenced so many metalcore bands that wanted to kind of parlay into the Swedish death metal sound. But, I mean, this record is a blueprint, and it's amazing. And I know a lot of people really like the earlier stuff with Fear I Kiss the Burning Darkness and The Red and Sky is Ours. And I'm not a big fan of those records because this is where I started, and this is what I like. I like the more melodic side to At the Gates. But even this record is heavy, and it's brutal, and it's thick, man. It's a great record. I really like Terminal Spirit Disease, which preceded it as well. And then I don't have, like I said, I don't have the other 2, but I have Gardens of Grief, which was their original EP. And this is one of those weird slimline cases they used to do. And this is the release on Black Sun Records. Will it focus? And I think this might be the first pressing, or it's an early pressing, or at least that I've had this thing forever. But this is when this is before the Melody. They were just a death metal band. And I know some guys that just, this is where it begins and ends with At the Gates for them. But this is good shit. Now here's their comeback record, At War with Reality. So fellow YouTube personality, Mike Seatown, At the Gates is one of his favorite bands of all time. And when this came out, I got so excited because I love it. And it sounds like At the Gates. I mean, it's the same guys playing guitar the same way. It's Tomas singing the same way. And it sounds like them. It's unmistakable from the first note to the last note that it is At the Gates. Now, my complaint with this record is that there's 15 songs on it, and that's ridiculous. This could be 2 albums. But so it gets a little long in the tooth, but it is At the Gates through and through. Now, was it necessary? Maybe not. Maybe they should have stayed broken up. But Mike, I got so excited because I thought he was going to love it, and he doesn't. He hates it. And I just don't get it. So, Mike, I don't understand, man. Next, another compilation, Audio Decimation. This was put out by Audio Decimation Records, which was the noise/power electronics label from the same guy behind Satanic Skinhead Productions, and I can't remember his new label's name, Death Angle Absolution. But this has got Grunt and 88mm and Brethren and Prurient and Grey Wolves and Death Key, which is the same guy. if you don't like power electronics or noise, you're not going to like this, because it's just a wall of fucking static for, you know, an hour. But I love that kind of shit, and we'll get into a lot more of this because I got a lot of that stuff in my collection. If I ever do tapes, I've got a lot of power electronics cassettes we will talk about. Next we have Audio Pain. I don't know anything about Audio Pain. This was a promo given to me to review, and for a while I would keep promos until I realized that I was keeping CDs I'll never ever listen to again. I started throwing them in a box. But I have, this is called The Switch to Turn Off Mankind. I don't know what this is. I don't know anything about it. It could be black metal. It could be death metal. It could be chunky cock rock metal. I don't know. Probably never find out. Avsky. Mass Destruction. This is a black metal band. Humanity's Plague Productions. Best I can remember, this is just kind of by the numbers black metal. I haven't listened to it like once. If it's not something that like I go after and buy myself and I'm interested in, if it's something I get in a trade or I'm given or something, I mean, unless I'm just bored shitless, I'm not going to listen to it. So this is what it is, man. But I'm a metal hoarder, so I keep everything. We have Avail. Hopefully we have some Avail fans here. Avail was a punk rock band from Richmond, Virginia. They have a very unique, very melodic sound, and this was their live record that came out in maybe 96, 97, somewhere in there. 97 on Lookout Records. It's live in San Francisco. This is the only Avail album I own, but it's kind of a cross-section of all their good songs. Southbound 95 and Simple Song, and I really, really like Avail, and I want to go back and get all their other stuff, but they're one of those bands that unless I see it in front of me, I'm not going to actively pursue buying it. But I'll put this on, and I'll listen to them online a lot. So I really, really, really like Avail. Last A, the last one, finally, 4 videos in. This is a split between Azazel and Goat Moon. Azazel, most famously, recently they played a festival in Finland, and their singer was just shit-faced the entire time and made a spectacle of himself and his band, and he's become a meme and all that. And then Goat Moon, everybody's favorite sketchy black metal band. This is on Werewolf Records. Of course, the guy behind Satanic War Master. I can't remember if I bought this or someone gave... Oh, no, I got this. I have a good friend named Nathan, Nathan Burke. A lot of you may know him. He's a writer for different metal publications, and I've known him for a really long time. And I was at his house one time, and he gave me a big stack of CDs he was done reviewing and doing promo stuff for, and this was one of them. And I may have listened to this on the drive home that day. I listened to several of those CDs, but I'm not a Goat Moon fan. It does nothing for me. I've tried several times. I mean, there's some good riffs here and there, but I don't remember this. I'm going to listen to this again. Side note, I really like Azazel's logo. Go look it up online. It's just a good, grim, nasty 1995 looking black metal logo. So, okay. I was going to get into the next stack of B's, but I'm going to cut this one short. So we're done with A, and I'm going to throw on some music because I've done yet another video with nothing playing in the background, and it's too quiet in here. So let's talk about these in the comments, and subscribe, like, share, tell your friends, call me an idiot, but you know, you're not going to hurt my feelings if you don't agree with my opinion. But I want to talk about it. I like talking about metal. I like talking about music, and I don't get to do it enough. So let's talk. Till next time.